Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Hamlin. I am the Region 3 coordinator for National History Day in South Dakota. I'm also an 8th grade U.S. History and Spanish teacher here in Georgia Morris Middle School in Pierre, South Dakota. And I'm very excited to have everybody here tonight. I'm hoping that you're enjoying the process so far. I know we've got a lot of judges who've already read some materials, but I just wanted to make a quick video to introduce myself and also to share some more materials that you'll need before you get into the actual judging itself on March 11th. Monday, there it is, March 11th, Monday. So we're down to like a few weeks left, and so you're going to see a lot more me, some emails, maybe another video or two. But I definitely wanted to make this one just to get everybody on the same page. So first of all, in this email that you got this video in, you should see a link that will take you to the web page that I'm currently on. I'll actually move my little video man. There we go. Hope we can see a bit better. So it says it says South Dakota State University. It says judging prep on it. So if you don't have this open yet, go ahead and get it open. If you have two screens on your computer, put maybe my video on one screen and then this on the other. If you don't, just be able to flip back and forth quickly. This is going to be really important. Or you can just listen to my voice too if that's enough for you to be guided. But make sure you have this open. It should be in the email. I'm going to go ahead and start scrolling down. So this is our judging prep that the state of South Dakota's state coordinator gives us. So it's just got some basic information right here. You can skip, you can read that on your own time. Here's where it really gets important, where it says required reading. So we have a few things that we can look at. So first of all is the National History Day rule book. I'll go ahead and open that up in another link so you can see it. Here we go. All right. So it's about 44 pages, and here's my advice. If you want to take a look at it, definitely do so. I would really recommend only to go through the pages that are really concerned with you. Remember, not every single person is going to do every single category. We have 5 categories National History Day, and you've been selected to do one based off your interests and based off what you told me you'd like to do. Down here you can see where I'm kind of hovering my mouse. We have paper, exhibit, performance, documentary, and website. A lot of this stuff, if you want to read through the rest, you're more than welcome to. A lot of it just is more rules for the students. We will rely on judges to tell us things, but we actually have rubrics that kind of go over everything. So I don't necessarily know if you need to read the entire rule book, but again, it's there if you would like to. And I will be there as the regional coordinator. A big part of my job is to just make sure the day is running smoothly. I also am a National History Day teacher, so I will have about 90 students enrolled. And I want to make it very clear from the get-go, I will not have anything to do with the judging deliberations, except for, if somebody say plagiarism happens and somebody brings that up to me, that's when I might step in. I would double-check these things, and we'll get into that in a bit later. But my role is not to be a judge for the most part. I will never question a judge unless they come to me and ask me for advice. But in order to keep myself distanced from the judging process, since I have so many students who are competing, I will not be a judge whatsoever. So I just wanted you guys to know, feel free to read the rule book, and then we'll go ahead and get out of it. So here we go. That was the NHD rule book right here. If we scroll down a little bit more, you see it says judging instructions by category, and these are the 5 categories. You have been selected to do one category, and in the email that I've sent this video with, you should see this too. It says Region 3 context. I got a bunch of stuff in here. The biggest thing we need to pay attention to is this list. So you see all these boxes. As I'm making this video, I might even just copy and paste this box into the email itself. That way you don't have to bother with all these tabs. That's actually probably what I will do. Right now, you can kind of see how many judges we have per category. Got 6 for essays, 6 for documentaries, 3 for performances, 14 for exhibits, and 8 for websites. Up here has how many people I have left. People are going to watch this video at different times, but this is right now it's February 18th. So this is my current situation. I only need 7 more exhibit judges and 4 more website judges. I know some people have already said, hey, we can do more than one category. I really appreciate the vigor, but unfortunately, we can't have people go into different categories because all the projects are being judged at the same time. So it's too hard to flip and flop. So unfortunately, we can't do that. We will have a finalist group, though, for some projects. In fact, for websites and exhibits, for sure, we will need to have a finalist group where we need to actually have a second round, basically, and different judges will have to pick apart those projects in order to decide which one wins. And I'll get into that later, but just so you know, there might be opportunities for you if you would like to do more than one category. I'll have a volunteer email come out later. But So right now, if you flip, hopefully you're here, hopefully you're looking at the chart, hopefully you find your name. What I did was I just X'd off all the ones that you said you would be willing to do, and then I highlighted the one that I placed you in. If any of this is incorrect, if you got put into a highlight and you absolutely do not want to be in that highlighted category, let me know as soon as possible. But I do want to get this planned as soon as I can, because a lot of you do need to have time to read your information. So if you're an essay, for example, and you do not want to be in the essay category, please let me know as soon as you can. That way I can move you accordingly, because I do need to have everything placed very soon. That way, again, everyone has time to look through their judging materials. So again, find your name and then actually look through and see up here in your column which one you're in. So for example, if you're highlighted here in F, where I'm hovering my mouse, you would be in the exhibit category. And what you would do is then you would click on this. So look at your highlight, go into here then and pick the one. You don't have to read all 5. You only pick the one that you actually have to do. So I'm going to click into exhibit. Look at that real quick. There we are. So exhibit category, judging criteria and rules. And if we scroll down, you'll see there's quite a bit of stuff. And a lot of these look the same. I'm not going to review each one. I'll just use this one as an example. And just remember that each one does look a tad bit different, but for the structure looks basically the same. So for example, on the left-hand side where it says Exhibit Category Judges Evaluation Sheet, this is the actual sheet you will use in order to examine the exhibit. And if you're doing a performance, that'll be a performance, so on and so forth. So I'll go ahead and open this up to show you what it looks like. There we go. All right, so kind of see here where it says historical quality 60%, relation to theme 20%, clarity of presentation 20%. These are all the things that it actually, that's how it'll grade the exhibit. So this will be the actual sheet that you fill out. Your comments will go here on the right side, and we'll look here on the left side. You'll see a bunch of other spaces and check marks. This is what you'll fill out and actually give back to the student. You will not give it to them right then and there. You'll actually have time to look at the exhibit. You will have time to really be thinking. You'll have time to think about the exhibit. Then you'll actually interview the student for about 10 minutes, and then you'll get another 10 to 15 minutes to write down your thoughts. So we try to give you that in that last 10 to 15 minutes, because we really want you to focus on giving the student good comments, good feedback. A lot of these students will be moving on to state, and even if they're not, we wanted them to know what they can do better in. I know a lot of teachers like myself will use this feedback and tell students like, okay, even if you're not going to state, what could you do better next time for a big project that you're doing? What did you learn about yourself? Like, we try to do a lot of self-reflection. So the more you can give them, the better. I hope I would have to say this, but every year we have somebody do it. If your writing's not very legible, maybe type. Maybe have a computer ready to go. That way you could type out your comments, and then you can email us, or you could print them. If not, just please write legibly enough where students can read. Every year I have students come up to me and say, I literally can't read any of my judges' handwriting. Again, I know everyone's handwriting is a little bit different, but I'm a teacher and I write 100 things almost every day, and I can do it. So if you can, just take your time with it, okay? So again, this will go to them. Go ahead and exit out of that. The next one is here. It says National History Day, South Dakota Exhibit, Category Judges Rubric. Again, everyone's got a rubric. These are really nice. These are actually the first time I've ever seen these this year, so I'm excited to use them. I think these will be very helpful. This is something I would definitely take time before the day of competition to read through, just to get a sense of what things are being looked at. Like, for example, look at this historical quality, 60%. That's 60, the biggest part of the assignment is historical quality. Did they do a good history project? Like, does their thesis look good? Do they have good supporting information? How are their primary sources? Are their facts accurate? All that stuff. And if you look through this, they actually show you superior, excellent, good, and needs improvement. These are the same four types of marks that you can put onto their comment sheets. So you will either tell them that they are superior, all the way down to needs improvement. And if you need to, use these as comments too. Like if you're going in through I'll open that up again. If you say you're looking at an exhibit and you don't really know what to say, you're right here in historical quality. If you want to label it, superior, then you just write right here, all information is accurate. It'd be a very quick comment to make. If you want to get more specific than that, you can. You can say, really great information. I particularly liked blah, blah, blah. So this is meant to help you. It's just a general rubric that you can use. We definitely want everyone to be using the same rubric. So I will encourage everyone to look through this the day of. During the day of competition, judges will have about an hour before we get into judging to look through all this stuff. But again, it's one of those things where the more time you spend on it before, the better off you'll be prepared to make good judgments. I know everyone's volunteer. I want you to only do what you're able to do, but the more you can prepare, the better. So definitely check out this rubric. We want everyone to be using the same rubric, especially, so we're making sure all the kids are getting consistent feedback. The rest of it, I'm not going to go through each page. The rest of it is also just, talking about the specifics. So relation to theme is 20% of the project. Clarity of presentation is 20%. If I scroll down, we have rules. And this is where it gets kind of tricky because, just if a student breaks a rule, they don't automatically get kicked out. It really depends on how bad it is. We have different things right here, like we have minor infractions and major infractions. This is where I would step in. So if you have a student who has made several minor infractions or a major infraction, you would need to let me know so I can look through it and determine whether or not I think that they could fix that before state, or if I feel like that they have an unfair advantage, so much so that they should be disqualified. That's when I would step in. It's the only time I really would step in, unless you think a project has plagiarism. But for the most part, I just want you to check that out and be aware of it. And again, if you have any questions about it, please let me know. So that is the rubric, and that is the comment section. And again, the last one is the NHT rulebook. We talked about that at the beginning. Feel free to read as much of it as you want. I really think you just need to focus on the specific pages for you. And remember, if you look at that index, it'll tell you what you need. All right, so again, that's the three things on top. If we scroll down, you'll notice there's actually more. They talked about purpose of judging, your process, so this part right here we'll stick with. It's important to remember that we need to want you to review all the materials before you get here. As much as possible, I would at least say try to spend an hour to two. We have a few weeks left, so if you get this video February 18th or 19th, you have a few weeks. So please, if you can, look through the material for at least an hour or two just to become familiar with it. We would like you to attend the contest date orientation. I haven't officially decided yet. I asked judges to be available by 7 in the morning, but understanding that sometimes we have weather, sometimes it's hard to get parked and get in here. I probably will do the orientation between 7:15 to 7:30 as the start, and then we'd go till about 8 o'clock, 8:10, and that'll be the orientation. About a half hour to 40 minutes is just us discussing what History Day is all about, how answering questions, and really that's it. We'll provide breakfast too for you, so you don't have to worry about that. But we will have a contest day orientation that we would like everyone to attend. Next, with your team, review each entry process paper, annotated bib. That's kind of hard. That's really when you actually have the students in front of you. I have to make a separate video for essays on websites, so if you're those people, look forward to that. But none of you are going to get the process paper or annotated bibs until the day of. So if you want to go around and read through that stuff early, if you can, you might as well try. I know the exhibits will probably have some open and ready. I think the documentaries and documentaries and performances might have some ready. But for the most part, it's going to be kind of hard to get that done. So when you're actually in front of the students, hopefully you had 10 to 15 minutes before to look through that stuff. And again, we'll clear more of that up on the day of, but don't feel like you have to have those two things in front of you before you actually get there, because really you probably won't get it until the day of. That's part of the process. Number 4, return to the judging headquarters. I'm not it's going to be a little off. We will have a place for judges to go. We will have a place where judges can mingle and talk and discuss. The room might change, so that's going to be a very day of, depending on our schedule. But the way it basically works is you will receive some time to look at the project before you interview students. You will interview the students, and then you will have time to deliberate. Sometimes you might get 5 to 10 minutes to really think about a project before you see the next one. And then when that's done, you will come to the judge room, which might be a classroom, might be the staff room, and you with your one or two partners will decide which projects did how well compared to each other. So you'll actually rank each project, and that's how we'll determine who moves on to state and who moves on and who stays. So as long as you are comfortable doing that kind of process for a few hours where you're looking, interviewing, reflecting, and then at the very end, probably around 12 o'clock, you're making your final decision, then you should be fine. And again, I'll be there to answer any questions that you might have. And again, this is, I know this is for exhibit, but this really goes for everybody. If you want to be looking at your own, make sure you're actually looking at yours. If you're doing a website, you should be doing websites, essays, so on and so forth. This is just tips on how to actually look at things. And so I'm not going to go through every single piece, but definitely take a look. This could be a part of your hour or two of reading and reflecting. So take a look through this stuff. Again, you have contest rules right here. They talk about major and minor infractions. They talk about disqualifications. So right here is really where I would come in. A judge is never allowed to disqualify a student. That's my job. You are not allowed to tell a student that they're qualified. In fact, you're not even, I don't recommend telling a student that you think they plagiarized or cheated. If you think that, just conduct your interview, smile, be courteous, say thank you, and then come to me and I will handle it. Sometimes you will be very surprised. Sometimes, judges think that this kid had to plagiarize because it's so good. A lot of times the kids have worked really hard and their real work looks like plagiarism because they did such a good job. Then again, sometimes it's very obvious and people need to come to me right away so I can take care of it. So when it comes to disqualifications, that's my job. Please do not tell a student that they are disqualified. And this is a good time to bring this up. Remember, be courteous to students. These are young people. We have a lot of middle schoolers coming to this event. We have probably about 200 of the kids being middle school kids. So, 7th, 8th grade kids. It's important to remember that they are, teenagers. They are not specialists. They are not historians, to the degree of being professional. They are young historians, and they are learning. So they are going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. I always tell judges that if you can focus on how they can improve, that'd be great, but also focus on what they did well. Oop, the timer. My 20-minute timer went off. There we go. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, if you guys can do that, that'd be great, just to let me know those things. So, scrolling down to general rules, again, just kind of reflect on this yourself. If you have any questions about any of these things in the video or as you're reading through this, I really encourage you to email me. Again, all this stuff can you kind of be read to yourself. Required written materials, that'll be the required written material. That is the annotated bibliography. That is the title page. That is the process paper. You will get those the day of the competition. That's part of the project. The only people who will get those earlier are if you're doing essays or websites. I'll actually be emailing you those on March 1st. And again, I'll be emailing those people separately just so you're in the loop. So we'll continue to scroll down. Category rules, again, there's a lot of rules and stuff. Feel free to read through them. Definitely don't feel like you have to memorize this stuff. Like the rule stuff is really my job. Like, I have a team of people who are going to go around and kind of double check and make sure things are on the up and up. Make sure no one's cheating. Make sure no one is disobeying rules. Definitely catch stuff if you can, but don't feel like it's your job to be the hunter. Your job is to just help students the best you can, and that's really all we want you to do. So, that's a lot. Sorry. Hopefully this was helpful. There's a lot of material here. Definitely email me if you have questions, though. If you come across anything that seems confusing or if it seems overwhelming, please let me know. If you're worried about not being qualified, like every year I get this question, can I really be doing this? Absolutely. Really, I tell people, as long as you're comfortable looking at a thesis, so, a historical argument, a kid making a stand on something, and evaluating how well they did that with their evidence, then you're going to be fine. You do not need to know every single fact about history to examine history. You really just need to ask yourself, did the student make an argument, and did they back it up? If they did that, great. And that's really easy to see, especially when you compare them to each other. So again, if you feel uncomfortable, definitely let me know and I can talk to you about it. But I guarantee you, as long as you're comfortable looking at a thesis or you know what that is and looking for evidence, then you'll be fine. So that is it for me. That is it for this. Just final reminder, that was just the exhibit category we looked at. There's a lot more here. So definitely look at yours. Spend an hour or two doing this. And again, let me know. My name is Taylor Hamblin. I'm the Region 3 Coordinator for National History Day. And I am happy to help with anything you need. So if there's any questions, feel free to email me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.